Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi, Sergio. So good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for the movie. And
Oh,
I would like to start asking Elegance. I know that this movie is based on your own experiences
mm,
as a black gay man that went to the Marines just like out of necessity. But why
mm.
do you think this is the right moment to show this story? And why did you choose Jeremy to do it?
Wow. Well, first of all, it had to be Jeremy from the very, very beginning. I wanted an out queer black actor first. And well, really, what I wanted was a talented genius artist. And
Yeah.
it had to be within a black queer person, so that was why Jeremy had to be casted. And honestly, when I was a kid, I didn't have anything like this film to look at, and I knew it was important with all the things that queer kids are facing, the homelessness and the suicides and all the things that we go through. We needed a hero like ourselves that can kind of provide a tangible evidence that it really truly can get better because you have it within you to make it better. And the reason I decided to tell this story right now, I was homeless for 10 years. My mother kicked me out
Yeah.
from the time I was 16 to 25 because I'm gay and told me that I was worthless, and I believed her until I got to Marine Corps boot camp, and I found out that my value was in my ability to protect the person to my left and to my right. And that was a really transformative and empowering realization. And I think in this time that we live in where, the United States is so polarized along left and right, black and white, male and female, everything, right? What better time to communicate to this world that our value is only determined by our ability to protect and serve one another?
And for you, Jeremy, how important was to just like portray this character that is obviously based on elegance, and then not only because you're representing the LGBT community, but also because all the racial and like sexual issues that are involved with the character. And I suppose it was complicated too because I mean any actor has to explore their own emotions and
Right,
experiences and everything. So this movie is very intense,
right.
but you decide to do it because it's obviously important for you, right?
This job one was a gift, and I'll explain what that means. But it was a job of service. I read the script. I was so moved by the story that I was able to connect with Elegance over Zoom, and we talked about what it means to be artist, what it means to be Black queer men in this world, and our missions, our mission statement as individuals, and those things were very aligned. And I felt like by Elegance telling his truth in this way, he was putting himself on the front line. He was saying, I'll go first. And by doing that, it puts someone in a very vulnerable position because once you give something away, you can't get it back. So I knew that, okay, I'll yes and amen you. I want to be the person to be the vessel to tell the story. But in doing that, I was able to get some healing on my own because I've had to navigate institutions in this life as a Black queer individual and hiding and shape shifting parts of myself out of safety. You know what I mean? So I knew that we talked about the importance of making this film, and ultimately by making this film, like what a gift it would have been for us to have this film as we were, becoming of age and becoming the versions of ourselves. Like, how freeing it would have been. So that was the mission statement with making this. It was knowing and believing on the other side of this, there was someone who was going to, this was going to become a tool. This was going to become a resource, something that makes it tangible to see it and go, oh, there's a way out. There are communities of people that will accept me for all that I am. And if that means I need to, move on from things, relationships that don't serve me, then that's what I have to do. But I think this film is about Ellis French finding self acceptance and self love. That's ultimately what he was able to find in joining the Marines. So, with all of that, I was able to do my personal work. I was able to offer Elegance, hopefully moments of healing and growing, and we did it together, hand in hand.
That's right.
So elegance, as you mentioned, been a lot of like racial turmoil lately in this country, but the movie is interesting because you see how, of course, there's racial issues in the story, but homophobia seems to be stronger, like seems to transcend all these
Mhm.
things. Is that is that true for you? That's been your experience, or it's just a combination? Because here we have like different characters. We have a Latino guy who's like very
Mhm.
tolerant. So
Mhm.
it's you're trying to show the diversity, right? In the same like marine community, but homophobia seems to be pretty intense.
Well, I served during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. You know, this is my story. Black gay man who joined the Marines, and really, the way I came up, I wasn't allowed to really participate with boys that much as a kid. When it came time to be picked for the team, they wouldn't pick me. If something was broken in the house, my mother's boyfriends wouldn't want me to fix it with them. They just felt uncomfortable around me. And then I joined the Marine Corps, right? I finally found a team who couldn't let me go. However, and it was kind of confusing at times because in an all-male space like that, there's a lot of overlap between my gay experience, right, and what I found in the Marines. But ultimately, you know, this movie is about, you know, it's really for anyone who's ever felt disregarded, anyone who's ever felt disempowered and undervalued. I promise you that when you watch this film, by the end of it, you're going to feel powerful.
It's interesting because you have like, as I say, Raul Castillo portraying this like Latino guy, and in Latin America, there's, I don't know, I'm Latin American, I'm from Latin America, so it's just kind of the relation we have with American Marines is kind of complicated. But you say the production knows that this is a pro-troop film, not a pro-military film. And actually, when you serve, you were doing camera stuff. You weren't like really like fighting or killing people. That's what I understand. So what is the what is in there? I know that you have to do it because you were like homeless, as you say, but what is your relation right now with the military system in the United States? And this is for both of you, actually.
Unfortunately, I am not qualified to speak about U.S. foreign policy. However, you know, when I came to the Marine Corps, as you acknowledge, I was in a desperate situation. There is nothing more harrowing and demoralizing than being a homeless person in the continental United States. So in my mind, whatever Ellis French has gone through in his time on the streets, you know, boot camp is not an environment for political discourse. Every man in that room is in a desperate situation. And this is why we focus on the troops. I believe that it's that human connection within an institution that actually changes the institution, and it's not top down. So by seeing Ellis French's example of how to be authentic in your own skin, each one of the men that he serves with finds their own way, because that's the thing. None of us as men really know how to be men. We're all being kind of pressured and formed by an ideology that's way bigger than us. But when we see each other eye to eye, that ideology crumbles instantly. And that's what this film is about, the human connection.
I am never giving up on us.